If you like roller coasters, there are a lot of great parks all over the country to choose from. But if you're like me and you live in Nebraska, there's not that many parks close by. Most of the best parks in the country are going to require some traveling. In this area, one of the only choices for a quote-unquote home park is Worlds of Fun in Kansas City, Missouri, which is roughly a 3-hour drive from Omaha. A member of the Cedar Fair chain, Worlds of Fun has unfortunately not seen the steady stream of major investments that parks like Carowinds or Kings Island have received. Despite this, is Worlds of Fun still a good park? What's missing from their lineup? And is there something big coming in the near future? Welcome to Ejector Airtime, and today we're going to take a good look at Worlds of Fun. Before we get started, make sure you take the time to like this video and subscribe to the channel, as this will really help against the YouTube algorithm. Worlds of Fun has been operating since 1973 and was originally themed to the Jules Verne novel Around the World in 80 Days, featuring sections of the park with rides and attractions named and themed to various parts of the world. This park was acquired by Cedar Fair in 1995, and from 1998 through 2009 they added 5 roller coasters, all of which still operate today. Since then, however, the addition of major roller coasters and thrill rides has stagnated a bit. So how does their current coaster collection stack up? Let's take a look at each one. Worlds of Fun has one kiddie coaster. A typical wacky worm model, Cosmic Coaster has operated at the park since 1993. This ride can be found in the Planet Snoopy section of the park, which features rides that cater to kids and are themed to the Peanuts characters. With a ride experience that's not very long or fast, it's perfect for younger riders, so that's why I have it ranked at number 7 in the park. Another cloned coaster in the park is Boomerang. Located in the Africa section, this is your standard Vekoma Boomerang model, a cobra roll and a vertical loop which are experienced both forward and backwards. These coasters are compact and thrilling, which led to them being very popular with smaller parks. These coasters can be found all over the world, but this one at Worlds of Fun does not give the most comfortable experience. You have to ride this one defensively in order to avoid banging your head on the headrest or the shoulder restraint. I haven't been on many coasters yet, but this one currently sits as the most rough and painful coaster I've experienced, which is why I have it at number 6 in the park. Spinning Dragons is a Gerstlauer spinning coaster which opened in 2004. This was only the second coaster of its type to be built, and it opened on part of the land previously occupied by the park's classic era looper Orient Express. Spinning Dragons offers a ride experience that's never twice the same, as the cars are free to spin throughout the ride. I recommend riding this coaster first when you come to Worlds of Fun, as it often has long lines due to its lower capacity. There are a number of family coasters similar to this all across the country, but they still offer a solid thrill, and I have it ranked at number 5 in the park. The oldest coaster at Worlds of Fun is the wooden coaster Timberwolf. This Din Corporation Woody opened in 1989 and was once one of the top 10 wooden coasters in the country. The ride originally featured a 560-degree upward helix midway through the ride, but in 2018 it was updated to have a 70-degree bank turn along with some sections of retracking, all done by GCI. Timberwolf is frequently considered to be a rather rough wooden coaster, but for me personally, I don't believe it is as bad as some people make it out to be. It's a solid ride with a number of good drops, and it maintains a good pacing throughout. I have it ranked at number 4 in the park. Across the park from Timberwolf is the other wooden coaster Prowler. This GCI out and back coaster opened in 2009 and was named Amusement Today's best new attraction for that year. It is also Worlds of Fun's most recent coaster addition. This is the only GCI I've experienced so far, but I think it gets sorely overlooked sometimes. On my most recent ride, I had about a fist length between myself and my restraint and got some of the best sustained floater air time I've ever gotten. Also, the fact that it was a very hot day may have played a part in giving me my best ride on it in a while. The best part is the triple down section on the return trip. I still need to get a night ride on this one though, as I've heard it's incredible. With a very similar layout to Mystic Timbers, I often wonder why Prowler gets slept on, as it is still a fantastic wooden coaster. Prowler frequently switches between number 1 and 2 depending on how it's running, and with the speed and airtime I experienced on my recent visit, I currently rank it at number 1 in the park. The tallest and fastest coaster in the park is the Morgan Hypercoaster Mamba. With a 205-foot drop and a top speed of 75 miles per hour, I find this coaster is a prime example of looks can be deceiving. While it is big and fast, I don't find it to be the most intense coaster in the park. After experiencing the B&M Hyper Raging Bull at Six Flags Great America just 2 weeks prior, I found Mamba to be quite tame. The ride does offer some decent floater airtime, but I think I got lucky. The trims on the mid-course weren't hitting as hard and it was very hot that day. Much like on Prowler, I had about a fist's worth of space between the lap bar and myself, which gave great floater airtime on the bunny hills following the mid-course. Riding in the very last row also helped to get the best floater possible on this ride. Mamba is an enjoyable ride, but it's missing the intensity of a B&M Hyper, so I have it ranked at number 3 in the park. The final coaster in Worlds of Fun's lineup is the B&M Invert Patriot. Opened in 2006, this invert can be seen right up front as you're pulling into the parking lot. It has a top speed of 65 miles per hour and whips you through 4 intense inversions, my favorite of which is the 0G roll following the vertical loop. I didn't find Patriot to be quite as intense as Batman the Ride, but it's still by far the most intense coaster in the park. The positive and negative Gs on Patriot are fantastic, and of course it's still glossy smooth. Having gotten one of my best rides recently on Prowler, Patriot takes my number 2 spot for the park. Since I discussed the lineup slightly out of order, here is my current ranking in list form. Now let's talk about the park as a whole. Once you make your way through the recently done front entrance, Worlds of Fun has a relatively straightforward layout. Most of the park paths go in a circle, with one going straight through the center. There are a couple minor dead ends, but it's still pretty easy to navigate. One of the biggest things I noticed walking around the park is the vast amount of planters throughout. Lots of planters with flowers, hedges shaped like animals, and even a floral clock. There were also a number of nice water features such as fountains and also a good number of fans with misters throughout, which were really appreciated on such a hot day. I was very surprised to see the park so empty on a Friday afternoon, but this is attributed to it being 95 degrees, so most people were next door at the water park at Oceans of Fun, and every major ride was a walk-on. The food options at Worlds of Fun are pretty standard. There are a few well-known brands in the park such as Cinnabon, Subway, Auntie Anne's Pretzels, Dippin' Dots, and a Panda Express in the park, with the rest of the stands serving up your typical park food. Worlds of Fun is also good at making sure you have a place to refill your souvenir park cup. Evenly distributed around the park is a large number of Coke freestyle machines and fountain dispensers. They also have several stands where you can fill up your cups with ices. And like every park should, nearly every stand will give out cups of water, which are very much needed on such a hot day. I just wish the cups weren't so small. Worlds of Fun features a good number of gentle and mild flat rides, but I feel like it could benefit from a few more high thrilling ones, such as an S&S Scream and Swing or a giant frisbee ride. This cuts right into the primary thing that needs to be done to improve this park. Worlds of Fun covers 235 acres, and it is not even close to being 100% developed. There is plenty of room to add new rides and attractions to this park, and a lot of it is not being used. There's also plenty of room around the park to potentially expand, but don't hold your breath on that happening anytime soon. If Cedar Fair was willing to invest into Worlds of Fun the way they've invested into parks such as Carowinds, Worlds of Fun would have potential to be one of the big guns in the Cedar Fair chain. But there might be a hope for the near future. Taking a ride on the park train, I noticed some land clearing being done behind the boomerang in the area that was previously occupied by the Dinosaurs Alive exhibit. There were a number of trees that had been cleared with more marked to be removed. There were also a few survey sticks in the area, some of which could be seen from Boomerang, and even a few were visible walking up to the entrance of Fury of the Nile, the park's river raft ride. On top of this, Worlds of Fun will be celebrating its 50th anniversary in 2023, so a new major coaster could possibly be coming. If it were up to me, the biggest gap in Worlds of Fun's current lineup is a solid launch coaster. An RMC single rail coaster would also be a great addition. We will just have to keep an eye on the park. Worlds of Fun may not be a destination park, but it is a park that can make for a great day trip. The fact that my friends and family can make a drive down, enjoy a day at the park, and return home before it gets too late is a really great convenience. It also has a great variety in rides for all ages, and can be a decent park to get your first coaster experience. That's going to do it for this video. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts on Worlds of Fun are, and what kind of new coaster you'd like to see them get. And don't forget to like and subscribe.